anger, 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 anger. Emotions are notifications. They are signals. They are reminders. What emotions aren't is an identity. You can only feel an emotion. You can't be an emotion. And that's the difference between a geese and a human. A geese can feel their emotion and express it and then walk away like nothing has ever happened. My goal is to be like the geese that is walking away, the one that isn't expressing anything, but being so in tune with what's going around them that they are choosing to walk away because they realize that this energy doesn't benefit what they want in their life. And so many of us are claiming an emotion as our personality, as our identity. And this is why we're consistently always attracting more things to be angry about. I didn't realize that I was always feeling a lot of anger. I thought that this was a personality trait. I really thought this was an identity. I thought that part of my bloodline, part of my family heritage is we have to be angry. We always have to react. We always have to respond. We always have to yell. We always have to argue. We always have to fight. I would literally find things to argue about just because I'm used to arguing. Like being in an argument literally fulfills my brain. It used to make me excited. It used to be that rush of adrenaline that I had. Because this was my consciousness. This is something that I claimed. This is something that I made as my I am. Just because I was around family that didn't realize and prioritize feeling their emotions. Their emotions was always something that was hidden and something that was only loud when it was time to react to something that was loud. They never really expressed how they felt. They never really expressed and asked me how I felt. It was never important. They didn't feel like they had to ask me how I felt about a certain situation because they didn't believe that I'd even deserve that level of respect, because they always feel like that their anger, their reaction, their actions is valid because they are the adult in the situation. With this kind of learning, with this kind of being, it's pretty much enabling yourself to act a certain way because you're scared to be accountable of the truth, which would be, oh, I'm claiming an angry reality. I'm claiming to be an angry person. So that is the result of that. But since they don't see it that way, it ends up staying in the consciousness of their awareness. And since they now have kids, that is the consciousness of their awareness, which was me, which is how I was also someone who was angry and never wanted to hold myself accountable for my anger. I was obsessed with being a victim. I love when people pay attention to me. I love when all eyes are on me, even if I have to scream and yell to get that. I love when people are validating me, even if it just means by looking at me. So if I had to cause drama, I will do that. If I had to start a fight, I will do that. If I have to go find something that made me mad just so I can be mad, I will do that because I was claiming to be an angry person. And since I have to feed that energy that I am all the time, I'm going to find, and my brain is going to find things to be angry and upset about consistently. Although I had plenty of reasons to be angry in my life, Although I have been through so many things that I could be angry about still to this day. And sometimes I find myself reminiscing and still being angry that those things happened. But the truth about anger is, anger needs to be expressed. In the beginning of the video, you saw the geese expressing their emotions by completely yelling at each other. And you can see the emotion and anger that they were holding on to as they were expressing their emotion. After they have expressed their emotion, they literally went right back with the same group of people and walked away as if nothing ever happened. And it's because they express that emotion, because emotions are always consistently supposed to be going through us, going past us, sending us signals and reminders of things we need to let go of. And the difference between a human and an animal is that an animal doesn't have thoughts to be consistently thinking about something, unlike human beings who have consistent thoughts about what are the past has happened, memories, imaginations. These things animals don't have. And since an animal don't have the imagination to keep reminiscing on the past, the animal can move on from the emotion and continue life like it never happened. Unlike us human beings who hold on to the imagination of that past feeling that continues to keep this anger alive. The definition of anger is a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. The anger definition encompasses the spectrum of feelings that can manifest in various but typical negative ways. Key word is feeling and manifest. What you feel to be real will only continue to be more real. And when you are consistently holding on to the feelings of the past of how people treated you, how people don't like you, how people hate you, how people came out to come get you, how people took advantage of you, how people did this and people did that. There's so many things that people have done to us that we hold on to that we don't realize that we still hold on to, whether it's energetically, whether it's a feeling, whether it's just in our bodies. We are consistently holding on to the anger that creates and keeps the anger more alive. And as somebody who literally loved being angry, I claimed it as my I am. I used to say things like, I am a crazy person. I am an angry woman. I am angry. I am mad. And although this is really innocent, like you're really not trying your hardest to manifest more things to be angry and mad about. But your I am is everything. Your I am is your creation. Your I am is God. God is I am. Okay? So whatever you put more focus and energy on, more feeling into, will only be more real. And once I realized this, my life has really changed. So this video was created to say that you need to pay attention to your emotions. Your emotions are messengers. Your emotions are signals. Your emotions are reminders. When you find yourself being depressed, when you find yourself being angry all the time, when you find yourself being sad, when you find yourself being insecure and living more in fear and having more worry, it's because there's so much emotion in you that you don't even understand the feeling anymore because you're so numb, because you've been avoiding for so long, because you feel like avoiding is the only way out, but the only way out is feeling. I made this video about animals and geese because animals are something and someone and a creation that I really look up to. Animals go every single day existing in this world with so much of this world actually. Like they don't have apartments, they don't have cars, they literally just exist. And they get everything that they want and need. They get everything that they need to survive. They feel their emotions. They do what they need to do to protect themselves and their family. They are deep within family. Family is the most important thing. For humans, it's hard for us to see past our circumstance. It's hard for us to see past our memories, our past, and all the negative things that have happened to us. But when it comes to animals, We literally give animals so much more grace than we do human beings because we feel like human beings aren't the same creation as an animal. Although we are completely different, the concept is still the same. For me, healing my anger was for me to love myself unconditionally. And that's something that animals do all the time because they don't know anything else besides togetherness. Even though being alone is something that's natural for everybody, there's always still two, because two is always one. Because we are all one. We are all one. We are all interconnected. And that's what made it so much easier for me to feel my emotions, for me to address my emotions. Because the more that I do it, the more that everybody else around me do it. And if I'm going to be avoidant, and if I'm going to be angry, if I'm going to be aggressive, if I'm going to be fighting, if I'm going to be yelling, if I'm going to be starting drama, everyone's going to be doing the same thing to me as well. And with animals, they don't do that because they already expressed their emotion 10 hours ago, 10 years ago, and they have moved on and moved forward, and they're doing everything together. Nothing is separate. And I look up to animals because they see everything as interconnectedness, just like how God does. So should you be mad that you had that emotion? Absolutely not. Should you be mad that that happened to you? Absolutely. But it's time to let go of that thing so you don't experience it again. Because if it's roaming around in your mind, if you're obsessed with that feeling of guilt, because a lot of us, we don't try to be guilty, but that obsession of feeling guilt, and it just creates more of things that we don't want to experience anymore. And I think true freedom is expression, and it doesn't matter how you express it as long as you're expressing it. And to me, the best way to express my anger is to create. By talking about the things that made me angry, by helping other people address their anger, this helps me release mine. And the truth is, everything is fixable. Everything can change. Everything can become better if you believed, if you trust, and if you let go. What I admire about these geese is that they did not give up. Human beings, if there's people behind, if there's people that don't catch up, if there's people that don't understand, they tend to leave everybody behind. And I think that is more painful than just allowing people to exist in a different space in your mind, because it's like we didn't even get to experience the real interconnectedness because of our fears, our doubts, and our loud emotions. But once people catch up, once we catch up within ourselves, because most of the time people are always reflecting something within ourselves. Once we truly accept ourselves for that dark side of us, it's actually going to feel impossible to be angry, because we knew and know that, listen, I fall down sometimes, I get angry, I get insecure, I sometimes even worry, but I always catch on to it, change my awareness on the thing that does make me happy, accept my feelings, allow my feelings to pass by, and now I can do this to my neighbor as well. Yeah, my neighbor was nasty, angry, and gross towards me, but I think it's harder for me to hate that person, to be angry with that person, than to just see it for what it is and to let it go. And I think that with geese, seeing those animals, those babies, not giving up until they were with their mom, just shows that you shouldn't give up on yourself until you hit your end result. This video is just to remind you that you are not your emotions. Your emotions cannot be an identity. Your emotions can only be a feeling. Something that you can let go of, something that you can change, and something that can be gone tomorrow if you allowed it. Do not let your emotions hold you back anymore. It's time to stop being avoidant and to feel and express your emotions in any way that you can. And I think that art and creation is the best way to do it.